everyone. It is currently the 9th of October 2014. Meteorologist Robert Spetta here with you this evening on Thursday, and we are definitely still tracking this very violent typhoon. Actually, literally the intensity rating from the Japan Meteorological Agency on this, violent with a pressure of 910 HPA. We have winds in the center of circulation gusting nearly up to 300 kilometers per hour, about 155 knots. That's the intensity of the storm system, and I definitely agree with that. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center, that's U.S. military, they actually have the intensity a little bit stronger out here on this. 135 gusting to 165 knots. Do note this is at its peak intensity, and in the forecast here, they actually decrease the max intensity of this storm system as it does approach the southern islands of Japan, and that's going to be the bulk of this update. We're going to be talking about the impact out here in Okinawa. Those of you that are out here ahead of this storm system and you're getting ready for it. Now, first off, before I show you any more of the model analysis or any more of the tracks, I want to show you the track consensus. This is not a spaghetti model. Some of you may think this. It's actually a great tool from Typhoon 2000. This shows you all the various agencies ranging from Hong Kong, the United States agency, JTWC, Japan, Beijing, Taiwan, and you can see the consensus with all of the WMO agencies, which typically happens, is vastly different than the U.S. military agency. Now, there's a few reasons for this, why I think JTWC is a little bit farther towards the west. One thing I'm thinking of is that they are pointing it at the American military bases in Okinawa, kind of keeping it a little bit closer, but I have to kind of agree with them. I do think this is going to be a little bit farther west than what JMA is actually saying out here. A few reasons for that. Look at satellite imagery in the loop here. All those other agencies are expecting the storm to turn towards the east of the 130-degree longitude line. That's this line right here. We haven't been seeing that. We've actually been seeing a northwesterly progression. Now, if this does start to turn off towards the northeast and east of that 130 line, I would highly suggest that the JMA track is going to unfold, but we haven't seen that verified just yet. It's staying on this northwesterly track, progressing along with the model outlooks, which really take this storm system directly north of the main island of Okinawa, some of them moving right over the center of the island and just hitting it with some potentially destructive winds. The good news, Okinawa is built for typhoon, so as long as people prepare ahead of this, which they should be doing now, you should be okay to ride this storm system out. But model consensus, and as I just said, that forward movement of this storm, really looking to verify this storm system as a potential northern island Okinawa landfall maker, or pushing across parts of Rota and or into the Amami Island. So let's take a look at the forecast from the ECMWF model. Big thing we have seen with this one, it's also shifted towards the west with its cousin, the GFS and the NavGem. Really, all the models farther towards the west outside of the JMA model. I'll show you that in a second. But this just shows it moving off towards the northwest. Key thing to note here is that, look at this, this is Friday, 65 kilometer per hour winds by, what time is this, 5 to 6 p.m. on Friday evening. We're talking about in the afternoon hours, you're already seeing tropical storm strength winds out here. So the winds are definitely starting to pick up. It's already been windy throughout the day, and it's only going to be slowly increasing. This is not going to be one of those storm systems that, hey, there's no wind, it's the calm before the storm, and then bam, it just sets in all of a sudden. The storm actually at this time, let's go back to the JMA track, moving north-northwest at a whole 15 kilometers per hour, 7 knots, so just moving at a snail's pace. And actually today we saw this basically moving stationary just south of Okinawa, so it definitely is moving very slow. And then to make matters worse, you have this high pressure way off here towards the north over the Sea of Japan. That is doing its part to really keep this farther towards the south, and also making it so it's kind of hard to predict, because we're not sure if this is going to move east around that high or farther towards the west. Right now it looks like it's going to take that westerly jog, but the thing I want you to note is that it's creating this high pressure gradient. So as we go through Friday, we have those high winds out there. That's going to gradually increase throughout the day on Friday. Into Saturday, you're already seeing those destructive winds, and then it's expected to pass by here on Saturday night around basically midnight here, closest approach to the island, and then moving off on Sunday. Is it going to pass directly over Okinawa or over the Amami Islands? I'm not sure at this time, and it's really hard to nail this down. That was actually just the ECMWF. This is the most recent run from the GFS model, taking it right over the island of Okinawa. It's kind of hard to see, but it's right here. That's the island. Many of you in the military are down here on the southern extent of it. And just off towards the north, this is the Amami Islands, with those winds wrapping around the eastern periphery and putting them right in the right front quadrant of this. And if that westerly track over Okinawa doesn't follow through, the Amami Islands definitely are still going to be impacted here. So, still a couple days to watch this, but the winds are already picking up. And I do have to say, if you are out here in Okinawa, I know that the military there is in T-Core 3, which means destructive winds, I believe, in 48 hours. I have to agree with that. You are going to be seeing these winds. You just seen the wind field around this storm. It is very large, and even if that track does stay towards the east, 50 knot plus winds is not out of the question by any means. That in itself is definitely enough to cause some damage out here. So yeah, guys, stay safe with this storm system. We're also going to track it after it pushes across Kyushu into Shikoku and Honshu. It's going to be a big rainmaker once it gets up to that point. See here actually on the 72-hour, and that's about 120 hours, the ECMWF forecast, where the heaviest rain's going to be. And I have to agree with this. Basically, the mountains of Kyushu are probably going to get hit the hardest from this. When the moisture pushes on shore, it's not going to be as big as a wind event, still will be. The rain, and there is that serious risk of flooding. And notice Tokyo really misses out on it based on this particular model, but yeah, this is still like 5 to 6 days out, so we still got time to watch that. Right now, the Southern Islands, get ready for this one. We're going to have live broadcasts on Saturday night through Sunday. I was thinking of actually getting ahead of this storm system, flying south, Okinawa out here, but I'm actually kind of holding back on it right now. Might stay here in Tokyo. A few reasons not to go. It's definitely not because it's not going to be strong. I still think this is going to be a very dangerous storm system, and actually one reason it's going to be passing during the overnight hours. I don't feel like being stuck out here and somewhere in a remote area in Okinawa during the overnight hours in a violent typhoon. So, yeah, guys, you just be ready for this. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.